In the adventure world, this would be considered a slick. 170 horsepower. These are the most powerful brakes you'll find on any adventure bike anywhere. That's a quick shifter. But most importantly, it's red and it says Ducati.
Hey Brett, I know you're sad right now. We are at the Beverly Hills Ducati, and unfortunately we have to turn this thing back into them. You had a chance to take it on the track. We took it on the highway, we took it on some back roads, we took it on some gravel roads and some off pavement stuff. What do you think?
I really am sad to give this bike back. I like it a lot. My first impression on it was just, to be honest, the fit and finish. I like things that are beautiful, that are well finished. The body work is clean, the lines are clean, the LEDs are beautiful. I love these mirrors. I love the mirrors. Oh, these mirrors, they're gorgeous. These are just like art. They're formed and they scoop forward out of the way of your wrist, and they have shape and they have black on the backside, and the wiring's all tucked inside, and you got this really cool little light right here, and this lights up when Paul tries to sneak into my blind spot. And of course they do function while I can actually see them in the back, but I always have them adjusted so I can see myself because I'm on a Ducati and I got to see exactly how cool I am. I love the fit and finish.
I thought it was very comfortable jumping on it. Just like we do in our classes, we would tweak here and there, you know, rotate the bars a little bit, move the levers just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this was just a lot of fun. It was surprisingly quiet. You know, I mean, for a touring bike, the wind is really well managed. Adjustability on the windshield, because I'm not worried about the mirrors, they're already there, but I can up and down with one hand. It's just that easy, and anywhere in between there, it's ratcheting, so I can adjust it based on height and whatever, but I can find that quiet spot so I can lean over and look in these damn mirrors. They did a really good job, you know, with the wind flow around the bike, especially with heat, which Ducatis are, you know, some of these bigger bikes, bigger motors, 160, 170 horsepower. That generates a lot of heat, and they did a really good job keeping that away from the rider.
What they did is the back cylinder shuts down. They cut the spark and the fuel. That way it's not generating heat underneath the rider. And then they have cold air intakes that are ahead of the radiator that bring it around to the rider. They have scoops underneath the bike. They have channels here through the bodywork. They have channels to push all of the heat out to the outside, and they even position the radiators to do that. A lot of engineering went into this bike to make it comfortable and to keep heat off the rider.
They've got a big screen, so our old blind eyes, we can read it pretty easily.
Oh, and they have a tilt.
Yep,
if you
and
reach
it does
underneath,
tilt.
you can reach it. It's got 3 different positions.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. But it's got 3 different positions to change the tilt, so you don't have a reflection coming back to you as a rider.
And moving through the menu, it's a toggle and a button over here. Very intuitive menu, even for an Army guy like me, you know, to go through all of the different ride modes, and you can change them on the fly. But to switch ride modes from enduro to wet to sport to urban to touring, and
to one up that,
go for it.
Because you will find that at other manufacturers where you have the different modes.
But wait, there's more!
There's a lot more! So Ducati allows you to do major customization. When I get into any one of those modes, I can set it up any way I want. So it doesn't matter what the mode says, I can create any profile I want within it. That means I can set front and rear preload separately. I can set the damping in the suspension front and rear separately. I can change change the way the power is delivered, how much power is delivered. I can set how much traction control I want, how much wheelie control I want. I can set how much ABS I want involved. Do I want the rear ABS on or off? I can turn on and off the quick shifter. All of that is, not only can I make all those changes, it's very, very intuitive, and that's a big deal to me. I love having my bike perfect for me, for the different situations. I really do not like hitting a button and some engineer in some other country that doesn't know how much I weigh, how much I ride, where I ride, how much load I bring with me. They don't know any of that, and they just have a generic setting. I want to be able to set it up for me, and this bike does that more than anything else out there.
Yeah, very customizable, and it holds those settings. And if you get in there and just tweak everything up and want to start over, they've got a default reset. You can just hit one thing and it will set it back to factory, and then you can go back in and readjust. So if you want to try something different but don't remember where you started from, very easy to do. Yeah, the latches on these bags, if I get, oh shit, hang on. Oh, here we go. So I don't like having to have this because I lose things anyway, but having to have the key to get into these every time. Once you get in the bags, they're nice. They're spacious, they're good. They're tapered along the bottom so Brett doesn't drag them around on the track, or even just clearance on the trail. But I don't like having to have a key to get in each and every time. Just old man complaining.
Now, the bags that come with the bike are the color matched, basically plastic panniers.
Yeah, plastic boxes. Yeah.
But they also require the key.
This is why I don't like chain maintenance. If I'm touring, if I put in a 700-800 mile day, I'm thinking Ducati now. But if I'm putting in a 700 mile day, when I get to the hotel at night, I don't want to be out in the parking lot cleaning my chain. I want to be in the jacuzzi drinking beer. So I would prefer a shaft drive if I'm going to do long distance touring on this, but if that's the price I got to pay to have the rest of it and to have my mirrors, then I guess it's worth it. Oh shit. Okay, there we go. All right. That's just a lot of damn work. I mean, at least they gave us a center stand to do that. So having this, having the center stand does make it a little bit easier, but that's extra stuff I got to carry. Like I said, I got to get up and down, and then I got to remember to do it.
It's okay. Yeah. I'll work the I'll do the chain for you.
Yeah, back in my day when we had rope drive, just hook it to the horse and off you went. But I mean, definitely not a deal breaker.
No review is perfect unless you go, how hard is it to pick up? So we had to check it out. If you take a look at the bike, the panniers obviously touch here, back is off the ground. No actual plastic or anything is touching. It's only on the crash bar. So it lays down pretty well. It protects itself. As far as picking it up, it goes into position pretty well. Definitely it's a heavy bike, but it really isn't hard to pick up. It's definitely easier than the older 1290 KTM or the Africa Twin Sports. Those bikes are quite a bit heavier. Certainly if I put it down, it does lay flatter than like the 1200 GS. If I pick it up, it's a little heavier than the 1200 GS, definitely lighter than the other bikes in class. Not too difficult. I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Right there. This little spot right here. That hit the ground, and the bar ends hit the ground. It kept most of the rest of it up. Didn't get a lot of damage on the crash bars.
And picking it up, it was lighter than expected. There are definitely other bikes on the market that are a lot heavier, even smaller bikes that are a lot heavier to pick up. They're harder to get up. So I would say it's somewhere in the middle. It's not the easiest bike out there to pick up.
If you're having trouble getting it up, maybe there's a pill you can take.
Well, that's
another time.
Okay.
That's on his other channel.
This is a perfect track for this motorcycle. It's very twisty, a lot of curves, not a lot of high speed, really high speed straightaways. And since I took the bike out with the panniers on the bike, and with the stock tires, and the 19-inch rim. And even out here, this bike, it was clear and obvious it was a Ducati. I mean, you know the heritage behind this motorcycle. The airflow was fantastic. It was so clean. I kept the shield in the low position. I didn't wear earplugs. The power on this is, well, it's 170 horsepower, and it revs like a 4-cylinder because it is a 4-cylinder. And that definitely made it a lot of fun. A lot of compression braking coming in. If you blip and want a compression brake, it does a beautiful job overlapping that with the brakes. Brakes were smooth and linear, as you would expect from a motorcycle like this, a premium bike with a lot of technology in it. Traction control was smooth, ABS was smooth. Most of the time you had no idea it was there to help you out, and so it was kind of fun to dial things in and out to see where the bike was and where I was. Ergonomically, felt great. Nice broad bars. It was easy to move around on the bike. The seat allowed me a good space forward and back. The tank had good shape to it. It was easy to lock in on the bike when I was going down into corners. And that actually takes me to the panniers. I ran the bike with panniers on the track for both days, and they angled the outside edge of the pannier and never hit panniers, never hit the ground. There's significant ground clearance on this. If you're riding this bike on the street and you touch panniers, you just crashed, right? You're going to be calling your insurance company. It has incredible clearance. It's not much else to say. This thing was everything it was bred to be.
So one last really cool thing that I want to mention before we reluctantly have to go give this back to them, because they're over there ringing the bell.
You're going to talk about the headlights?
It's not the lights.
Yeah, and how they shine in the corner when you're cornering?
Nope, because you're too busy looking in the mirror anyway.
Maybe the LED across the top.
No,
is that what you're going to talk about?
No, I want to talk about that thing in between the headlights.
Oh, the radar in the back.
Which is the radar. There's a radar on the back. There's a radar on the front.
I thought this was a GoPro mount.
No, that's not do not mount your GoPro there.
Oh, it's a perfect place for a GoPro.
Right, but that's the radar for the adaptive cruise control. You set your cruise and it will pick a distance behind other vehicles if you're gaining on them, because we all know if we've used cruise control on the bike, unless it's wide open, we don't really get to use it that often, just because you're constantly having to make these adjustments. With this thing, you set your cruise, and if the vehicles in front of you start slowing down, it maintains a very safe distance, which is also adjustable up here on the handlebar. So if you need to get a little closer, if you want, you can be farther back. But it'll slow down, it'll speed up. If it gets to the point that if you're closing faster, it will actually apply brakes for you and start slowing down up to 50% of the braking. And because of the shift assist on it, you can actually upshift and downshift with the cruise on without shutting it off. It will let you downshift gears and upshift gears without having to trip the cruise, and it's really slick.
Every manufacturer kind of has a reputation. One of the things that Ducati are known to be go fast bikes, and believe me, this is a go fast bike, but is the cost of ownership, the high maintenance. This engine no longer has the Desmodronic valves in it anymore. I know some of you are now falling on the ground if you're Ducati, but before you turn off, just listen. They've gone to a spring valve closure, but it takes the valve check intervals to 60,000 kilometers.
37,000 miles.
That's a lot of distance, and that really pairs into the cost of ownership. And other than that's the big cost item when you own a bike, is what's it going to cost to get in there? How often do you have to do valves? Because everything else is, oil changes and chain maintenance, and
oil, air,
maybe a
chain.
computer update, things like that. So pretty small stuff. Really makes it far more competitive in the market, and it's priced right along with the BMW GS, right? It's right around that 28,000 plus or minus, depending on the features you have, or spoked rims, or what bags, you know. So it bounces around that mark, and it definitely, it's a premium bike. When you wonder why you're spending that much money, when you ride it, you understand. When you look at the features, well, you know, and of course heated seat and heated grips and all these other features that come with the bike, it really reminds you that this is a premium motorcycle, and that's what you're paying for. If you have any questions about the bike that we haven't addressed, we're not going to cover everything there is. There is so much. We could make this a 2-hour video just talking about how cool this bike is. Ask your questions in the comments below. We're happy. We monitor this after it first comes out. We try to answer those questions or find the answers for you. If you have comments, you've owned one or you own one, you want to share your thoughts, leave those in the comments below. If you want to give us a tip, YouTube allows you to do a one-time by just going down below. There's the 3 dots. Click on those 3 dots and it says thank you, and you can just send us, you know, $1,000 or $20,000.
Yeah, because the payments on this thing are a little steep right now.
Or you can do $1, you know. We'll take that too, because that'll pay for the cream in my coffee. But you know, so please, you know, give us a thank you, and make sure you hit subscribe, you know, hit like, leave a comment. Hit the little bell so you get noticed. There's a lot of stuff to do. It's like an entire to-do list. I need to just like, okay, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment. You know,
yada, yada, yada. Smile while you ride. Attitude matters. Love you, folks. Take care.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later. Fucker, go back to where you were.
There's the money shot.
All right, and okay, go ahead.